Hello everybody. Wow, 4 lands and we get to go first? I must be facing mono red or something. Alright, what? Oh, well it's red at least to start with. Man, it's like I've played this game before. Okay, they gave me all white cards. All white lands. And they're dealing me all my black spells. Lovely. I guess we'll have to use a Ganjo on the Ronin. I've got a similar mono red deck for when I'm in a rush. Let's see how much of the cards are the same. Ah, mixed in some white. Okay. You can still play the Ronin. Are you going to equip the Geist with the battery? They left the Ronin up and alone. Weird. Do they suspect I have a Ganjo? You could have done that before. People are weird. Alright, let's try Guardian of New Benalia. We have a prototype deck, and the guest star is Geth, Thane of Contracts, a legendary Phyrexian zombie. Other creatures get -1/-1. Now, it's not all other creatures, it's only creatures you control. That's right, you're not reading the card wrong. This, by all accounts, should be a bad card. As soon as you read it, I do like the flavor text, though. It seems someone forgot to read the fine print. That is lovely. Alright. We can discard a card. Oh, hang on. Is that going to do... That's going to do +1/+1. And gain lifelink. I'm going to let that pass. Alright, that wasn't the card that I was hoping for. I guess we're stuck. Alright, we have to discard a card. I guess we'll get rid of Goring Warplow. But that has to be tapped now. Now maybe they'll just attack with everybody in an attempt to knock me out all at once. And that's going to work. No, they didn't sacrifice against that. But I'm still going to take a lot of damage. Is there anything left that can save me? That's not the depopulate I wanted. I can't put down Liesa. All they really need is direct damage now. But if they don't have a white form of removal against Liesa, we might have an okay chance to survive. They could just put the rabbit battery on there, make it 3/3. No, they can't do that and the Twin Blade Geist at the same time. So they're going to put it on the Samurai. I think that's a mistake. Alright, we pass. We get rid of the Ronin, and we block there. And then we make this indestructible. Get rid of the duplicate Geth. We survive their first strike damage. And we get rid of everything else, and we survive from the lifelink. And then I go get my last planes, and I go get some lifelink. I feel better. What do we have in our graveyard? We've got the Goring Warplow. Okay. Wandering Emperor. They're going to exile
I'm
the
not overconfident. You're just underwhelming.
It's good timing for them. Really? Oh, good. I thought you were going to exile Liesa.
I guess that's it then. Remember your training.
And we will discard the planes that we just got. Invulnerable, or indestructible again, sorry. Because Liesa is out. Those ones, oh good. Do I have anything that's too permanent that I would want to bring back? I could bring back a Ganjo. No, let's just decline that and bring down Edgar. And then we're going to attack with just Liesa. We're going to play it conservatively. If they have another Wandering Emperor, Liesa is going to get exiled for sure this time. Okay, so they can still afford to attack us, but they do not. Alright. In that case, now you have 3 defenders. It's weird. It's supposed to be a prototype deck, and I got down every creature except the prototypes. But Guardian of New Benalia really proved her worth, didn't she? That's a nice shield. I gotta get me one of those. Alright. Liesa is gone for the moment. But wait till you see what we can do next. Really? I was going to use Geth. Oh, never mind. There he is. Okay, so let's attack with everybody. Hang on a sec. Let's go draw a card. Oh, good. Okay, so make indestructible. Get rid of the Seraph. Now we've got a couple of prototypes we can get out. Now we're cooking with gas. I don't know that we need them anymore. But I kind of want to show you the concept of the deck. Hopefully they don't scoop right this second. Come on, where's that second Wandering Emperor? Yep, they went digging. Shouldn't have attacked. Darn it. Don't scoop. Don't scoop. Don't scoop yet. Come on, JLA 28. Hang in there. I won't even attack next turn, okay? I promise. We'll block there. What is that thing? It's a flyer. That could give us troubles. Okay, we bring down Geth. No! I wasn't going to attack. Oh well, we'll show you the whole deck. Alright, remember to like and subscribe, everybody. Subscribe to Tpull's Corner. It's better to subscribe because I've got the apostrophe in there, so sometimes it's harder for people to remember that later and go find it. We're not a channel for the lazy. We're here to make you work. This deck is called Others Are Less. When I say others, I mean my creatures. And that's because we have Geth. So looking at Geth again, legendary Phyrexian Zombie for 3/4. Other creatures get -1/-1. That means that if I put down things like my 1/1 Goring Warplows, they're going to die if I put Geth out. However, it does have for 3 mana, you can return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. If it gets destroyed again, if it leaves the battlefield, even if they just bounce it or phase it or whatever, right, you exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. You can activate it only as a sorcery for his special ability. But here's the idea. We've got 4 Goring Warplows in there. We've got 4 Combat Threshers. We pay the prototype cost. They come out as 1/1s. Anytime we feel like putting Geth out, those guys will go into the graveyard, but then we can just pay 3 and get them out. Now they'll come back instead of a 5/4. If Geth is still around afterwards, it'll be a 4/3, and the Combat Thresher will be a 2/2 with double strike instead of a 3/3. But even though we're going to have sort of that permanent discount, we're still getting to get these, whatever cheap ones we got out for 3 mana before, or 2 mana, we can get back for only 3 mana, and we'll get a slightly better creature, and we won't have to wait for more land. So that's part of the theme of the deck. And to help us out with the rest of it, we've got 1 Fateful Absence. We've got Guardian of New Benalia, which you just saw in action. We've got 1 Sanctify to get rid of enchantments or artifacts. Sheoldred's Edict to get rid of either tokens, non-tokens, or planeswalkers. 1 Elisiel Core, so if he's out and we lose some creatures, then our opponent loses 1 life. Restoration of a Ganjo. We don't have a lot of planes. We've got 2 planes, so hopefully don't whiff on that. I might have to change the mana up a little bit, because 2 planes is kind of pushing it as far as being low, but I put in a lot of special extra lands. 1 Morbid Opportunist. So this is kind of cool because we've got so many chances for creatures to die. And we've got 61 cards. We've got 25 lands. So with the 1 extra card is actually 1 extra land. We've got 24 creatures. So kind of a standard size deck with a standard number of creatures. We've got 1 Gruesome Realization to give creatures my opponents control -1/-1. We do have the option, if they're coming at us with big bombs, we can draw 2 cards and lose 2 life instead. 2 Lilianas of the Veil. This is kind of cool with Geth in our hand, right? Because we can have each player discard a card, and we can discard any of these prototypes without worrying about it because we're going to bring them back with Geth. So Liliana gives us a way to purposefully fill up our graveyard with fodder for Geth. That's the idea, anyway. We have Allegiance to Ashes, exile target non-land permanent. We have a Depopulate for a board wipe if we need it. Just the 1. Well, I do have a second one, by invitation only. There we can choose between 0 and 13, and both of us have to sacrifice that many creatures. We've got some legendary creatures in here, 2 copies of Edgar Charmed Groom. When it dies, it turns into the legendary artifact, Edgar Markov's Coffin, and starts spitting out 1/1 white and black vampire creature tokens. And then it transforms back into Edgar. So they need to... There are a few ways to get rid of him, but you can't just kill him normally with battle damage, because he will come back. We've got Ratadrabik of Urborg, a 3/3 legendary wizard with Vigilance and Ward 2. Whenever another legendary creature you control dies, you create a copy of that, but it's not legendary. It's a 2/2 black zombie. We've got Gix's Command is kind of our third board wipe. We can destroy each creature with power 2 or less, and have each opponent sacrifice a creature with the highest power among creatures they control. That's usually enough to wipe out anything the bad guy's got. And by bad guy, I mean your opponent, of course. But we do have two other options. We can return up to 2 creature cards from the graveyard to our hand, or put 2+1/+1 counters on up to one creature and give them lifelink. So in this type of deck, either one of those options might be good alternatives. Liesa, 4/5 flying legendary angel with flying and lifelink. Whenever you lose a creature, you return it to our hand, and then if a creature an opponent controls would die, we exile it instead, which I like that. And then we have the prototype, Steel Seraph. Flying at the beginning of your turn, target creature you control gains your choice of flying, vigilance, or lifelink until end of turn. The Death Toucher, Goring Warplow. We also have, is that 2? Yeah, 2 copies of Tyrannical Pitlord. I started with 4, and that was too many. But it's got 6/6 with flying and trample. As it enters the battlefield, you choose another creature, and that creature gets +3/+3 and flying. The drawback is when the Pitlord leaves the battlefield, you sacrifice the chosen creature. So it can have some drawbacks, but it can also be a game winner. We've got the Combat Thresher, which when it enters the battlefield, we draw a card. So we've got some card draw in here. Life gain with the Phyrexian Fleshgorger from Menace and Lifelink. And the Ward, they have to pay life equal to the Phyrexian Fleshgorger's power. And then I just got this, Kaya Intangible Slayer. Costs 7 to get out, but the Planeswalker itself is hexproof. For +2, each opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. For 0, you can draw 2 cards, and each opponent may scry 1. And then -3 is to exile a target creature or enchantment. And as long as it's not an aura enchantment, you can actually create a token that's a copy of it. It just becomes a 1/1 white spirit creature with flying. So with that, we've also got 4 Fair Basilica for card draw. We've got 4 Draws Pits for card draw. We've got 2 Plaza of Heroes. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 legendary creatures that we can save with Plaza of Heroes if we need to. I've got 1 Mirex rare land card from Phyrexia, where we can create Phyrexian Mites if we want to. 2 Field of Runes to use against our opponent. And 1 Takenuma, which we could also do to mill some cards and then return a creature or planeswalker card from our graveyard to the hand. So, I think that... Oh, and 1 Aganjo. We got 1 Aganjo, too. So that is the deck. That's the idea. Others are less. And if I don't say it enough at the right times, because some people skip different parts of the video, remember to like and subscribe. Some people skip the deck tech entirely and just watch the gameplay. Others are opposite. They'll just watch the deck tech, and then they'll figure, okay, I got it. I like the concept. I'm going to go try it out myself, and they won't bother with the gameplay. So I have to intersperse my calls to action. In case you're the forgetful type, at some point I should say it so that you'll hear it. And you'll remember and you go, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Alright, let's bring out Elis Ilkor. This is for efficiency, getting the most out of it. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. We could have put out the Death Toucher first, but with only 1 planes, there's a chance that this one might survive a turn. Patrick Automaton. Is that over 100 cards? Okay. Let's go ahead and we'll put out the Death Touch Chump Blocker. We'll gain the life, and we will attack for 2. They did nothing? Crazy. We gain a life. We give this one, let's say Vigilance. That way if they have removal on 1 card, we've got 2 Death Touch Chump Blockers. Next entry is going to exile 1 of them. Yes, they took a prototype. Thank you. That's what we want. And Vigilance. Okay, that's a fair trade for me. I don't mind that at all. I hope you have more Annex entries. That's what I would like. Although I do have to worry about counter spells now. What is that? Cephalopod Sentry. Equal to the number of artifacts you control. Well, this is a good card. Lifelink. Attack. I don't have one of these yet. I gotta get one. It's an artifact squid. Oh no, there goes Liesa. I was gonna use it by invitation only and everything. Okay. Alright, let's do this. We're gonna do this again with the lifelink. There's no drawback for us attacking. Platoon dispenser. Okay. They did not attack at all. They have 3 creatures. I have 3 creatures. Alright. Clear the board. We get our Steel Seraph back at full value. Nice. They didn't say it, so I will. Now's when the Hellbreaker Horror comes out, usually. Dollhouse of Horrors. Okay. And they're going to bring back something already. So they bring back the Automaton. I'm going to attack with this first. Let's just do Vigilance. Okay. Now it's time for Geth to shine. Come on out, man. You feel the urge to say bad card when you read it, right? The first line. Other creatures you control get -1/-1. Bad card, bad card. Look at you. He repopulated fast, didn't he? No blocks. Give me back my Liesa, please. Thank you. Next, we're going to do Vigilance. We attack. Do you want to block me? No, they do not. And let's go ahead. Can we do that? Do we have enough? We do. Oh, it instantly dies. I forgot. We have Geth out. Yeah. Flavor text. It seems someone forgot to read the fine print. Mirax is kind of worthless when Geth is out, in particular. Oh, they got her again. No blocks. Alright, here comes Tyrannical Pitlord. Target, lifelink, attack. You only got 1 flyer. Bam, down to 1. That's nice. We got a chump blocker. Ah, Annex Sentry. They took the wrong thing. They took Geth.
If I require more energy...
I have 2 flyers. Well, you have 2 flyers. But I have Trample. No blocks. All I need is 1 point. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-1. Next, I think we need some lifelink. The trample was going to get 1 point of damage past their 5/5, what became their 5/5. Whew! Kinda close. Let's try again. They got rid of guests so fast I couldn't bring anything back. And as is usual, they give me my most expensive card up front to make sure that I can't cast anything for a couple turns. Just give me a dead card for 7 turns in a row. It'll be fine. It'll be great. For anybody new who hasn't played with the prototypes that much, it's Phyrexia has kind of taken over the environment, so I'm not seeing as many prototypes as now. But prototypes are a really good feature because the cheaper cost is down below instead of the kicker cost. When you have the kicker cost, a lot of players always want to save the card for the kicker element, for the kicker cost itself, which is fine if you can afford to wait. But with the prototype cost, you're kind of encouraged to play the cheaper cost first. I know I love to maximize my use, so when I've played with kicker cards, I'm always holding on to kicker cards, possibly too long. It's something I have to watch as far as a bad habit. And this should be a ninjutsu deck. That's usually when you see the network disruptors. And instead they're just sending flyers. I'm going to let the 1 point of damage come through. Another Plaza of Heroes. Another attack with Combat Thresher. Is there any way I can stop that? It's not legendary, right? Alright, it goes away. Ooh, Flesh Gorger. Do I hold on to it? Do I bring down my tyrannical pit lord? Yeah! That's fun. Why did I not play with you before? I had 4 copies, but I couldn't make it work. Not in this deck. I may have to make a different deck and have 4 copies. Okay, so it's 2 for 1. We have to sacrifice the Warplow now. It's kind of a delayed reaction there, wasn't it? Okay, I want to pay the full cost, so I want 7. Do you have counterspells? You do not. That one's going to cost you if you want to get rid of it. Unless they have a Shieldred's Edict, that gets around it. Which, this is a very common removal spell now. It's usually, I always have at least 1. wonder if before it was converted, if that was a green worm. Should be, right? Is that going to exile it? Oh, they're going to exile it. They still have to pay the 7. That's kind of worth it. Worth it for me, anyway. Okay, next. Kaya. I can do the +2 with the Bloodcaster out. They can't keep up. I mean, they can keep... Oh, they do have counter spells. Okay. Well, that was my only Kaya, too. I was looking forward to showing her off. I have to mill a card now. Just a land. Not a problem. Alright, let's get rid of you. Let's go draw a card. Let's resolve that and sacrifice a creature. We're equal on life. We don't need you beating on me anymore. Bring down the land. So we kind of flooded out a tiny bit. If they're comfortable with 6 lands, they can just start cycling through their deck and filtering out lands. Instead, that goes second from the top. And we can see it. So 4/4 flyer that we gotta keep worrying about. They have counter spells. And they have just the right number of counter spells, right? They had a couple of creatures, they had a couple of removal, and they had a couple of counter spells, and everything's coming up exactly just right for them. They throw away the other negate. Don't quite have enough land to bring out the Screaming Swarm right this second, so they should, yeah, they should do the clue. Go get some extra stuff. And hopefully this isn't another scatter array, because that's for 4. Whew! Now I need them to bring down the swarm, so we can get it with Liliana. Yep, throw away the extra land. Oh, they put down another one instead of blood tokening it. So that gives them room for, what, one more negate? They threw away a second one. Does that mean that they have a third one already handy? That could be a problem for me. But they can't really afford to attack with this. Alright, let's try it. No negate. Anything but a negate. Yes.
I'll have this fight finished before brunch.
Ah, one of your friends has to leave.
That means I can attack. And we can go ahead and start creating these. Gravelander. Oh, I'm glad I created that. Okay, we sacrifice the creature. If they pay for that, I'm going to make them discard that. Oh, they put it down so they don't have to lose it. Okay. We make good on the one planes. We attack with what we got. They have to chump block. They don't have enough to pump that up just yet. And the swarm is still a card away. Although they could get it with the blood token. So there's the chump block. We do the card draw now. Or the discard, and then we do the card draw. Auto pay for that. And Morbid Opportunist. Now they can add, they can make that a 5/6. With my Death Toucher, they can't block there, so they have to keep the Infiltrator as a blocker. Can they afford to pump it up enough to kill the Warplow now? No, they cannot. Don't need to discard a card. Do I want to use this right this second? No. Let's just attack with the Warplow. That gets the Inkrise out of the way. Yeah, go ahead. That doesn't do you any good at all. What do I have in my graveyard for creatures? Goring Warplow, Combat Thresher, Tyrannical Pitlord. Okay, so return up to 2 creatures from graveyard to your hand, and you sacrifice the creature. We're going to get you back, and we're going to get you back. And I'm going to go draw a card. Excellent. I'm not going to discard any of that. It's all good stuff. Now you bring down the Screaming Swarm, yes? Yeah, that one we don't care about as much. Oh, this is lovely. Tyrannical Pitlord comes to the house, give you +3 in flying. And we do Combat Thresher, draw a card, make everybody discard a card, get rid of the extra swamp.
We all have
Second
things
game,
we'd rather forget.
We attack with you. You have to block with the swarm. And then I can block with my Tyrannical Pitlord. I used all of my mana. I used all of my land. That's efficient. Okay, you can dig for an answer with 1. Gets rid of Reject Imperfection. That card showed up a little too late for them in a Modern Age, which does not help. And they can go on a suicide run and run themselves into the Pitlord if they want. Life is good. We're doing good, but Geth showed up kind of late to that party. However, we did get to go ahead and show you how we can use Gix's command to go get a couple of the prototypes back later when we have enough money, so to speak, to afford to pay their full cost. So keep that in mind when you're making the decks with the prototype cards. There's a lot of different ways that you can do things. Ooh, card. Clear shot. Okay. I think I had 4 of those already. Oh well. We're going to do one more. But yeah, think about the resurrect spells, things that you could bring them back straight to the battlefield. We have some of those cards. But bringing them back up to your hand later is fine, as long as you don't have to worry about the timing of, say, graveyard hate cards that the opponent might have. Then it's you're kind of left to whatever is the moment you think is best to bring those cards back up into your hand. And maybe you only cast them for 2-3 mana earlier on 5 or 6 turns ago, and now you can afford to do more than that. So that's what that card is there for. Ugh, you're gross. We bring this down because they could have counter spells.
Nobody knows Dominaria's shadow. Off you go.
This card is really dangerous because you can always just take 1 or 2 points early on, and then they build it up too fast for you to get rid of it. And those 1 or 2 points of damage is enough that they get you later. Alright, what do we do? I think we do this. And that's it. I'm not going to make anybody discard. We'll make them waste a burn spell on it. I really need not to miss a land drop. I got 5, 4, and 4. Are you going to duplicate that? Oh, it's duplicate. You did a Twin Inferno on a Consider? Really? Well, they've got the red instant, or is it a sorcery? I think it's a sorcery that lets them bring out a token creature with as much power as they have for his instants and sorceries in the graveyard. Let's go ahead and do this, because we missed a land drop, so I want to get a card draw. Still missed our land drop, you little pukes. I don't want to get rid of anything. Liliana's just sitting there then. This is usually when Magic wants you to lose. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 spells and 3 lands. What are we at? Turn 5? That's pretty bad. Burn down the house. So yeah, Liliana wasn't going to survive much anyway. We do have the other one. Okay. Gee whiz. Are you willing to trade? They might not do the board wipe. They might just put out the 3 devil tokens. All I needed was 1 more land, and I would have some options. Wow. Instead of To the Face or the Planeswalker. You're going to bring these down as devil creatures, aren't you? Oh, you're not even going to bother. Okay. Here, get rid of that one. We've got Gruesome Realization. We can pay for it. We're doing good in that they've got 10 cards in their graveyard and we're still at 20. Okay, so they're going to go kill the Planeswalker. If they were conservative, they'd put more than 1 on it. Yep, just to make sure, because I do have 1 untapped land. They're thinking about it. What are the odds my 1 untapped land can do something to one of your... the one attacking... No, okay, so they decided to risk it.
A delay.
That's fine.
Nothing more.
I just need them not to have a second burn down the house right away. That's going to be 3 more points. They've got plenty of land. Let's try Edgar. And we'll put it on top. Use it right away. They get their memory deluge and use the memory deluge right away. And they use up the zombie right away. Okay. Let's try it again. I'm waiting for their token creatures. Okay, there's Lear. What would you use? They could Twin Inferno or Lightning Strike. But do you do that against Edgar or just straight to my face at this point? They want to get rid of Edgar. I'm kind of good with that. Because that taps you out. And I'm going to depopulate before I get my token in. No, I get the token first. Oh well. It's good to have Lear out of the way. I don't think they have more than one of those. How many creatures is that? 1, 2... Just 3 creatures. Big score, get rid of the land, refill their hand, although they could have done that next turn when they could attack with Skrillex. They're really going all out. They're burning everything they got. What are you gonna do with the 1 mana? They have a braid. Oh, instants and sorceries cost 1 less. They put Edgar in the grave. Nice.
Enough with the mysteries. I've always hated crowds.
Why am I still getting cards that I can't afford to cast? We just got another one there. You tap out to go look for the thing they want the most. I got a land? Wow. I'm gonna do this while they're tapped out. And let's go ahead and make them discard something. We'll discard...
Don't overthink
Steel
things.
Seraph. I'm assuming you got 2 good cards. Okay, got rid of another creature. They're coming across their creatures now. Did they whiff? You whiffed? What is that gonna do? Oh, I see, said the blind man. 11 lands to my 5. Are you going straight for my face? You are, filthy beast. Eh. Make him dig. They empty their hand. I'm not going for the Planeswalker.
Drop it.
Now, if that's a lightning strike to my face, I'm dead, because then they could just hit me with any damage to any target from Geistflame Reservoir, right? How many did they already use? They used plays with fire there, they used a lightning strike there. There's 2 lightning strikes and a play with fire gone. They're going to pay the price in life. They didn't destroy the artifact, they just did 3 damage? You're going to have to pay the price in life again for that. That was pretty bad. Now you go after the Planeswalker, okay?
You picked a fight with the wrong necromancer.
Alright, destroy each creature with power 2 or less. Return up to 2 creatures. We want Liessa, and we want the Flesh Gorger. Discard a card.
You won't be outsmarting me.
Now if they put down a creature, Liliana can get rid of it. There you go, digging. That's the... Oh no, that's just a discard. Okay. So if you want to go digging more, you got to discard whatever's in your hand. But that gets them 2 more cards. They throw away the Abrade. Even though they know they could have just used Abrade to destroy this artifact. That thing's going to be a pain. Oh geez, they ran into just exactly what they needed, didn't they? There's the card I've been waiting for, Seize the Storm. They can't cast it this turn. But they get to the end of their next turn. And what the heck can I do? Because that's 4 damage to any target. I don't have any way to get life gain right now. I'm dead. They got me. I'm not even halfway through my deck yet. How many cards? They've got 29 cards in their graveyard. They did really good with the Arcane Infusions and all the Reckless Impulses and all the Electric Revelations. We're We're basically just waiting for them to figure it out. I mean, I guess it's possible they forgot they can do that. 1919. Must be nice. You want to put them both down? No. You're going to get rid of... Oh, it was a land. Figures. Going digging because you need more stuff. Don't target the Flesh Gorger. No, you could have just killed me. You could have killed me straight out. They misplayed. They had me. This is why we don't just scoop.
Go.
This is why we don't quit. If they're gonna mess up, it's up to us. Pick up the pieces. Go get some other stuff. Throw away the land. We could make them mill themselves out if we could figure out how to survive long enough. But that's a 2020 with trample. So we're kind of running out of options. Alright, what do we do? That's going to hit nothing. I don't have a plains. That I can't cast. I need a removal card. I can't cast any of this stuff. I'm gonna die. She's too low.
I'm tired of your secrets.
I can attack with that. So despite their misplay, I got exactly nothing helpful against a 2020 Trampler. They were able to get through 32 cards in the graveyard, get tons of land out. I have, somewhere in the bottom half of my deck is a thing to destroy an artifact. And they win with 4 cards left. Good job. We had some bad draws there. And I probably held on to stuff too long when I should have been willing to discard it with Liliana. I was so convinced they had ways to destroy it. And this kind of shows one of my weaknesses as a player. I like the cards that are up in my hand too much. So I'll have times when I really should make a hard choice and discard something, and I didn't do it. If I'd been able to choose a little bit better, maybe I would have had Liliana 1 loyalty higher that time, and I would have been able to just have it sacrifice that creature. Alright, we'll show you the deck one more time. I was hoping to show off Geth a little bit more often, but as it turns out, that was the creature that they chose to get rid of each time. I'm not sure if that's because they viewed Geth as the big threat, as opposed to some of the others. There were sometimes when Geth was out there, I thought that other creatures were a bigger threat, and they still chose to eliminate Geth. But, yeah, I kind of like... I like Gix's command sometimes to bring back the prototypes. I like using Geth to bring back the prototypes. And in the meantime, I mean, as much as, or as little as we used him, he didn't end up seeming like he was a worthless card or a bad card necessarily. You know, sometimes he was just a sacrificial lamb for removal cards. Sometimes he was what we threw away with Liliana. So, you know, we still managed to make use of him, even if we didn't manage to use him quite as often for the primary reason I put him in the deck, just to return our our prototype artifact constructs back to the hand. Edgar surprisingly didn't make that much of an impact. Most of the time they managed to either exile him or figure out a way to throw him into the graveyard one way or the other. And then Liesa, the other battle we had, Liesa got exiled by an enchantment. As soon as we got her back, they exiled her another way. So it seems like Magic decides to pit us up against things that they have built-in answers to our issues. And that was the one I was looking for, Sanctify. So I'm at 61 cards. Do I put in one more thing to deal with artifacts and enchantments? Because that was the one thing that I needed to sort of save me in that game. And they buried it in the bottom. For a 2-drop, that's kind of unusual, but you notice I didn't get these cheap ones, right? In that last battle, for the most part, the 2-drops never showed up. It's kind of strange. Anyway, that's the deck. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know what you would do different. And again, remember, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.